Hello students, welcome to one more session which is important for the preparation of your English exam. Well, before I start this presentation, I go with this belief that you have read all the chapters carefully. And now this is the time where you need that final shine on the diamond. And this presentation will serve that purpose. So here I ask, are you exam ready? We start with the general instructions on the question paper. You all are aware that there are 13 compulsory questions. The question paper also says that you need to follow the word limit and write correct question numbers. Now, it is very important, children, that you write the correct set number and question number to get the best out of your paper. There should not be any confusion in the mind of the paper checker. So write the correct set number and the question number. We start with the first question, which is literary comprehension. This is for 12 marks. Skills tested in this question are inference, vocabulary, theme, character analysis. Passage 2 is for 10 marks. It has analytical and data-based questions. Some kind of data is provided in the form of a pie chart or a bar diagram. And the skills that are tested are interpretation, graph-based reasoning, and inference. Here, let me remind you that you have 2-mark questions also in these two questions, and you have to be very careful with the 2 markers because the examiner will look for 2 points usually in these 2 markers, and the word limit is 30 to 40 words as compared to the 1-mark questions where the word limit is 15 words. Maybe sometimes the answer is just in one sentence. So remember that these 2 questions will have 2 markers also, and you should adequately answer these questions. Let's look at a 2-mark model answer. It's from your sample question paper. How does Pip's vulnerability emerge in the passage? Pip's vulnerability is highlighted through his young age, his isolation in a harsh setting, and his fear when confronted by the threatening man, which makes him appear helpless and defenseless. So you see how beautifully 3 points have been put together in this 2 marker, which is for 30 to 40 words. So the idea of showing this answer was that you need to put all the points in these questions. So as you can see, I've included this also. Why this fetches full marks? Well, it directly answers the question, it uses inference and not copying, and gives a clear explanation within word limit. So that is what I'm trying to tell you, that all the points were beautifully put together in 30 to 40 words. This is an example for a 2 marker. Now let's look at your writing skill section. The writing skill section is for 18 marks, where you have 2 short writing skills and 2 long writing skills. When I say short writing skills, it means the word limit is 50 words and they are 4 marks each. Long writing skills are 150 words and they are 5 marks each. Let's start with writing skill, that is notice. If you have seen my other videos, you would know what I mean when I say format. So format means the name of the issuing authority, the word notice in block letters, the title, in this case it is Eco Fiesta ABC School, date, and then students are informed that the environmental club will organize. All this comes under content. So 1 mark for format, 1 for expression, and 2 for content. Why this scores full marks? Well, you have to make sure that the format is correct. All essential details are included. I don't want to go back to what I've already told you in the video which covers the writing skills, but well, your notice should always answer 5 questions: what it is, when it is, where it is, whom to contact, and then any other relevant detail. Finally, the language has to be formal and concise. The next question that comes in your writing skill section is invitation. Again, there is an internal choice. you could get two types of invitation. You could get one invitation and one reply. So the first type that we are looking at is the card type formal invite. You all already have an idea that there are two types of invitation, formal and informal, and under formal also you have card as well as letter. I'm just looking at the card type and reminding you that you have to remember that in the card format, first you have to make a box, then it has to be a single sentence presentation in third person. There are no punctuation marks used at the end of the line. Simple present tense is used, and the invitation answers the questions who, whom, when, where, what time and for what. It also includes the name and address of the organizer, hosts, names of special invitees in case there is a chief guest. There are no signatures. Yes, and just reminding you, you have to write RSVP also. In replies, you can have letter of regret or letter of acceptance. The format uses letter type where you acknowledge the invitation, express gratefulness, express thanks in third person, mention acceptance or regret, use formal and polite language. And here, let me remind you, you have to mention the date and time once again, even if you are replying as a letter of regret. Layout usually pertains to the format of a formal letter, and I'm not getting into that because I assume you know what is the format of a formal letter. Moving on to the next thing, and that is letter to the editor. This is a 5-marker, and if you remember, I have already told you the letter to editor should have 3 to 4 paragraphs depending upon the content. The introduction always is, I wish to draw the attention of the concerned authorities to the urgent need for, and then you talk about the problem. As you can see on the slide, format once again reminds you that complimentary clause in a letter to the editor is yours truly. Remember this. Organization of ideas is for 1 mark, content is for 2 marks, and accuracy of spelling and grammar is for 1 mark. I've always maintained that letter to editor is a very descriptive kind of letter, and here what is most important is that you have to give 2 to 3 viable solutions or suggestions in the third or the fourth paragraph, as the case may be. Also, you should request the editor to print the letter. Remember, the editor cannot solve your problem. He can print the letter, he can create awareness, but he cannot solve the problem. So adequate language should be used in the last concluding paragraph requesting the editor to publish your letter. Next, we have the job application. As you all are aware that there is an internal choice in your board paper, letter to editor or job application. It's absolutely your choice whether you want to attempt job application or letter to editor, whatever you are comfortable with. Job application, again, you must remember it has a covering letter in which you must refer to the advertisement. Then in the second paragraph, you must convey the suitability for position, submission of application. Biodata comes as a separate enclosure. Don't forget to mention enclosures after your complimentary clause. Then start with the biodata, which is like a profile of self, which includes educational qualification, work experience, and finally references. Please remember, you cannot include the biodata in the body of the letter. These two are different parts, two different parts. So first you have the covering letter and then you have the biodata or resume. For further details, you can always watch my video on the long writing skills, which will give you an elaborate explanation as to how you should go about writing a job application. Here we now talk about the next question which is there in your paper, where there is internal choice between article writing and report writing. Again, as mentioned, this is a 5-marker. I'm not talking about the distribution of marks. It is the same as the previous questions. The format here includes title and byline. Organization and content is something like this, which is given, which is straight from your sample question paper. As you can see, the article should be crafted in this manner, where name, designation of the writer is written as the byline under the title. Article is divided into 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is introductory paragraph, where you must have or include a relevant topic sentence. The second paragraph and the third paragraph is basically development of the topic, where you discuss various aspects of the topic: causes, effects, pros, cons, advantages, whatever you can write about it. And then finally, the concluding paragraph gives writers' opinions, comments, recommendations, or solutions. Article is not box, and you have to remember, article is not written in first person. That is also very important. Yes, it's a subjective question, so please write the points in a manner, in a language which is very formal, because as you can see, you have marks for accuracy of grammar, spelling, everything. Against article, internal choice, you have report writing, where the format includes headline and byline. Reporting place and date comes in the newspaper report. Yes, paragraphing organization means introductory paragraph, 1 or 2 body paragraphs including event details, and concluding paragraph inclusive of witness accounts. Now, as you can see, the report should answer these questions: who, where and when, what and how, what did those present think. Reports can be of different type. It could be you are reporting an accident, you are reporting an event, so it could be of different types. Again, report also is not written in the first person. Only thing that comes in the first person can be an eyewitness account, or maybe what the chief guest had to say or the speaker had to say about the event. Only that can come in first person. Again, you must go back and watch my video of long writing skills. Here I've included some of the important topics, children, which are current issues and which can be there in the form of an article, letter to editor, report. So quickly, let's skim through the topics. Climate change and global warming, it's a very hot topic. Air, water and noise pollution, plastic pollution and waste management, deforestation, conservation of natural resources, all are related to environment. Next, we have next lot has impact of social media on youth. Again, this is also a very happening topic. Mobile phone addiction, artificial intelligence in daily life, very important. Online education pros and cons, cybercrime and online safety, mental health awareness. There's a lot of talk about this also. Stress among students, importance of physical fitness and yoga, examination stress, role of teachers in modern education, gender equality, women empowerment. Gender equality is also very important. Child labor, peer pressure, career choices, drug abuse among youth, role of youth in nation building, influence of media on public opinion. Again, a very important topic. Declining human values, role of family in value education. So I've just tried to put together some topics. You can maybe just keep some bullet points in your mind, so that if you get any of these topics in your paper, it will be easier for you to elaborate upon the points and think of solutions or give suggestions. Moving on to literature now. Literature portion is for 40 marks. There are 3 reference to context questions. Again, they have internal choices. There is one 6 marker. All these are 1 mark questions from Flamingo poetry. Then you have Flamingo prose, and you have a 6 marker from Vistas. The types of questions under this are multiple choice questions, where you can have complex multiple choice. Again, go back to my previous videos and see what I mean by multiple choice complex ones. Objective type questions like fill in the blanks, true or false, and very short answer type questions. When I say very short answer, I mean they are just 1 mark each, so you are writing 1 line. But then again, a word of caution, don't write 1 word answers. Children, this is an English exam. You are in class 12. You are supposed to form a complete sentence when you are writing the answer. Next, you have short answer questions, which are 2 marks each. 5 are from Flamingo. Again, there is internal choice. You'll get 6 questions, out of which you'll do 5. Vistas, you'll get 3 questions. You have to do 2 questions. 1 mark is for content and 1 for expression. Well, half or 1 mark can be deducted from overall for accuracy. So please refrain from beating around the bush. I've taken 1 sample question from the SQP. What lesson does Douglas's experience convey? Douglas's experience shows that fear can be overcome through determination and systematic effort, teaching that courage and perseverance help individuals conquer their limitations. The purpose of including this question was to show you how 2 points have been beautifully put together within the word limit, which is 40 words. So remember, 2 markers would mean 2. If you want perfect score, give 2 points beautifully woven together in 40 words. Long answer questions. There are 2 of them, one from Flamingo, other from Vista. Again, there is an internal choice. Whichever question you are comfortable with, you please attempt that question. But remember, both the questions have to be divided into paragraphs. As you can see on the slide, the first paragraph is introduction, direct response to question. I've mentioned in my previous videos on literature, when you are dealing with a 5 marker, always lift the statement that is there in the question itself, make that your introduction. And then go ahead with the fact that whether you agree with it or you don't agree with it. Next will be the body. And that is the second paragraph where you will give 3 relevant points with textual support. So if you are giving the character sketch of a character, you have to give textual evidence, give examples. And last conclusive paragraph is where you are reinforcing the central theme. Now, finally children, what I can tell you is revise smartly, improve writing clarity. When I say writing clarity, I mean write short, clear sentences. Avoid very long, complicated words. If you are unsure of spelling or complicated, complex sentences, memorize key lines, quotes from literature. For example, there are so many important lines in the chapter Indigo. The Battle of Champaran is one. Civil disobedience triumphed for the first time in modern India. All these lines are very important. Memorize them. Then use them naturally. Do not overuse them. And if you are using them, underline them. Yes, plan before you write. Spend 1 or 2 minutes planning answers for long questions. When I say planning answers, so remember I said 3 points and you have to give textual evidence for these 3 points. So try and organize your ideas and think of 3 most important examples. Yeah, that is important. Organize ideas into introduction, body, and conclusion. This is, remember these 3 words for your long answers: introduction, body, conclusion. Yes, sample long answer. I'm just talking about the introduction and the point. So if you've seen the SQP, you can go back and look at the SQP for this year. And it says both Indigo and the Roadside Stand highlight exploitation by depicting how the poor are marginalized by powerful groups. While Indigo presents colonial oppression of farmers, the Roadside Stand reflects economic exploitation in modern society. So see how nicely both the points have been put together. And why CBSE awards full marks? Relevance to question, use of textual references, and logical progression of ideas. Remember this. Common errors to avoid. Writing memorized guide answers. They look very artificial, children, so please avoid that. Irrelevant details like writing the summary. I have been saying this forever and ever, and I'm saying it again. The person who's checking your paper is your teacher of English, and therefore she or he does not need the story of the chapter. So please don't write the summary. If you write the summary, you will get average marks. And exceeding the word limit also, you have to keep in mind. Write precise, concise answers to the point. Yes, that is important. And now the last thing, remember, go through important chapters, themes and character sketches, revise formats of letters, article, report, underline keywords in all your answers, have a neat handwriting, practice model answers, adapt your language to the demand of the question. Again, I'm saying stay within word limit, write to the point answers. Trust your preparation, children. Practice formats, revise literary devices. Time management is very important. All I can say is practice some papers, some model papers, some SQPs. Do it within the time frame. Give yourself 15 minutes of reading time and 3 hours of writing time. That is going to help in time management. So, good luck, children. And yes, wait for some more videos where I'm going to bring your chapters very briefly, which will help you in your revision. All the best.